Let's learn how to make cinnamon crunch muffins today. These are super delicious, easy to make. You don't need a lot of equipment. You can do this all by hand, and they're on the table within a half hour. Here are your ingredients, but don't worry, I'll include a link below that will give you nutrition information and more details as usual. In a small bowl, we are going to mix together 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 42 grams, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 4 grams, and 1 teaspoon of flour, which is 3 grams. Once we mix that up, we're going to add in some butter. You want the butter to be cold and cubed into small pieces. It just makes it easier to blend. You're going to use 1 tablespoon of butter or 14 grams. And you can use your fingers and rub it in, or you can use a knife like this and you can just cut it in. And what you're looking for are crumbs. It's going to be various sizes. It doesn't have to be uniform, and it doesn't have to be very tiny and small. You just want it to be a little bit like this. Next, you want to preheat your oven to 375 or 190 degrees Celsius. In a larger bowl, we're going to use 2 cups of flour or 300 grams. To that, I'm going to add in 3/4 cup of sugar or 150 grams. If you like them sweeter, you can add an extra 1/4 cup, or if you like them less sweet, take out a 1/4 cup. Now we're going to add in our spices. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 4 grams, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, 2 grams, and 1/2 teaspoon of allspice, which is 2 grams. You can mix and match your spices. You can add a little more cinnamon, you can add a little more ginger, you can take out the ginger. Add in 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1.25 grams, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, which is 8 grams. And to this, we're just going to mix it together briefly so we don't have any pockets of baking soda or too much salt in one area. Next, we're going to add in our wet ingredients. First, 2 eggs, 100 grams, and I'm just going to mix these up briefly. Then I'm going to add in some oil, which is 1/2 cup or 120 milliliters. And then finally, I'm going to add in some milk, and it's going to be 3/4 cup or 180 milliliters. You can use any kind of milk you like here. You can use buttermilk, you can use full fat, you can use fat-free, you can use lactose-free. It does not matter. It will look like this, and you're going to put this in your muffin tin. Now, if you have paper liners, it's easier to clean up. If it's not a non-stick pan, you'll want to grease it well with either cooking spray, baking spray, or grease and flour it. I like to use the paper cups because it's easier cleanup. And you just want to divide this out equally the best you can. You can weigh it, but you can really eyeball this. These are very forgiving. Next, using a teaspoon, just divide the sugar mixture among the muffin tins. It doesn't have to be precise, just to eyeball it here too. As I said, this is a very forgiving recipe. It will look like this. If you have any stray bits of sugar, make sure to wipe them off, because if you see the discoloration on my pan, that's what happens. I'm using 1 teaspoon of oatmeal, which is about 1 gram, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on some just to give it some decoration and some crunch, along with the cinnamon sugar. And then on a couple more, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of crushed nuts, about 14 grams or 1/2 ounce. And you can make them any size you like. And I'm going to put these on some as well. Now you can leave this off altogether if you don't like nuts or oatmeal. This is totally optional, and it's basically just to have it a little more texture and a little more, well, just to look nicer. Once you're done with that, you are going to pop these in the oven, and you're going to bake them 15 to 20 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean and they look like this. And if you press on them, they will bounce back. But I wouldn't recommend pressing on them because they're very hot because of that sugar mixture. Take them out after 2 to 3 minutes, and if they give you any fits like this, use both of your hands and just gently pick them up. You want these to cool so the crunchy top will have time to develop. When they first come out of the oven, they're very soft, and as they cool, they will get crunchy. I will show you what one looks like on the inside. They're absolutely delicious. They're lightly spiced, but if you want to add more spices, feel free. This is really easy to customize to your own liking. And when you press on it, they bounce back. They melt in your mouth, and that crunchy topping just gives it a really nice texture. You might enjoy looking at the difference between light brown sugar and dark brown sugar. I think the dark brown sugar has a nicer contrast, but a lot of people prefer the sweetness of the light brown sugar. Visit us at jacksonsjob.com for more recipes, and as always, happy baking.